Story 1. Britain's first billionaire, Gerald Grosvenor, Duke of Westminster, was asked this question shortly before he died in the 1980s. His answer was, "The only way I know is to make sure one of your ancestors was a close friend of William the Conqueror." Story 2. A common mistake is not starting to invest earlier. Compounding is essentially free money, but only if you give it time. Story 3. Not saving for retirement when you are young is costly. Starting a little earlier is worth much more than saving a lot later. Invest in growth assets such as stocks so your money has room to grow. Story 4. Health. Prioritize your physical health to lower healthcare expenses now and later in life, and so you are not in poor health when you retire and have time to enjoy life. Story 5. Start early. Learn to live on less. Max out your incentives from your employer. Story 6. Invest as young as you can. Time takes care of the rest. Story 7. As a young person, do not put extra money in a brokerage account until you max out tax-advantaged accounts. Friendly, non-judgmental reminder to learn about tax-advantaged accounts when you are young. There are common misconceptions. This can be complicated, but it is hugely beneficial to learn early and start maximizing these benefits. Roth Individual Retirement Account. You pay taxes on contributions now. Qualified withdrawals later are tax-free. You will not owe income tax or capital gains tax on those withdrawals. Traditional 401k employer-sponsored retirement plan and traditional individual retirement account. You defer income tax until you withdraw the money. Investment gains inside these accounts are not subject to capital gains tax while they remain in the account. This is particularly useful during your peak earning years. Taxable brokerage account. Contributions are made with after-tax dollars. You owe capital gains tax on realized gains when you sell investments, and you owe income tax on dividends and distributions. Story 8. Reddit has a free wiki on personal finance. I highly recommend it. Story 9. Do not spend unnecessary money. Use your items until they fall apart. Avoid owning duplicates when one will do. Choose store brand products instead of name brand products. Small amounts can add up quickly. Story 10. Maximize contributions to your 401k retirement plan and take full advantage of any employer matching contributions. Compound interest is powerful. Story 11. Contribute to an employer-sponsored retirement plan as early as possible and continue adding money. Begin with your first job after school to get a big head start. It does not have to be much. Compound interest over time has a powerful effect. Story 12. Never carry a credit card balance. It does not build credit. It is a predatory practice. Pay all cards in full on the payment due date, not before. For each day you pay early, you forfeit 1/365 of the interest earned. Story 13. Investing is not just for people who already have money. Put what you can into it regardless of how small it is and you will benefit. Story 14. Do not have children very early. Children are costly. I am fairly well off, but I have less wealth than my peers because I had to spend a lot of money on my children from a young age. Money that I could not invest or save. That does not mean I regret having children, but it is a factor to consider if you are thinking about having children at a young age. Story 15. Start saving for retirement in your 20s. The fund I began contributing to at my job when I was 26 has grown to $65,000 after 12 years. I am no longer at that job, but I have rolled it over twice. Story 16. Live beneath your means. Invest in yourself. Use leverage only for assets that may appreciate. Story 17. Investing through a health savings account as a triple tax-deductible way to grow wealth. This assumes one can avoid major medical expenses while young, which is not possible for some people. Story 18. To build family wealth, understand and act as if wealth is created across generations. Rags to riches stories are possible, but intergenerational investing is more reliable. That requires significant investment in younger generations. One generation can undo the progress. Story 19. Do not drive new cars. Buy only older, gently used ones and drive them until they are no longer economically reparable. Use the money you save from not having car payments to build a large emergency fund to pay for occasional repairs and to buy the next replacement when one finally dies. Story 20. It's not about investing. The key is non-consumption. Radically lower your expenses. It's amazing how little you can live on and how much stuff other people have that you don't need. Story 21. Start investing early. Even if it is not a lot, do it regularly. $300 a month invested in the Standard & Poor 500 index from age 18 to 28 would grow so that, even if you did not invest another dime, you would have $1 million by the time you retire. Story 22. Marry someone who is wealthy. It does not matter whether you are male or female. Story 23. Saving does not have to be complicated. Keep some money in a high-yield savings account or a mutual fund. This is your somewhat liquid cash and will cover emergencies. Any money you will not need for years. Open an account with Vanguard and buy their exchange-traded fund Vanguard Total Stock Market ETF, VTI. It has averaged about 10% annual return and is one of the most diversified exchange-traded funds, so you do not have to worry about one company failing and losing all your money. Ideally, you will not sell within 12 months. If you do, in the United States you will pay short-term capital gains taxes at your ordinary income tax rate, for example 22%. If you hold for more than 12 months, long-term capital gains tax rates apply, which are typically lower, for many taxpayers around 15%. The book The Simple Path to Wealth helped me a lot. For your information, Vanguard does not have many bells and whistles, which means their fees are low. Low fees are very important when trying to build wealth. The book explains this well and explains why Vanguard Total Stock Market ETF, VTI, and Vanguard Total Stock Market Index Fund Admiral Shares, VTSAX, are great options. Their money market fund is Vanguard Federal Money Market Fund, VMFXX, and the last time I checked it was paying about 4.6% annual percentage rate. Also look up the Rule of 72. It explains roughly how long it takes for your money to double. For example, at about 10% annual return, your money doubles in roughly 7 years. Compounding is powerful. Story 24. Building wealth from nothing is a battle against your own worst psychological instincts. To understand better, read the book The Psychology of Money. It will change the way you think about money forever. There is no secret formula. Building wealth comes down to 3 things. First, have a great income. Invest in education and your career. Learn how to navigate workplace politics, and learn how and when to change jobs and so on. Second, spend well below what you earn. Saving 5% is not enough. 10% is modest. 20% is interesting. 30% is good. 40% is excellent. More than 50% is elite. Third, invest consistently. Investment requires being comfortable with risk. Invest smartly and broadly. Diversify. Keep a substantial portion in safe investments, but be comfortable allocating about 20% of your money to higher risk opportunities. You must be in it for the long haul. There is no quick fix. Even when the market nosedives, you have to stay and overcome your worst psychological instincts to buy more. When everyone panics, you should buy. When everyone is buying, stay on the sidelines. The recent market bull run is a good example. I never try to time the market, but this year I have accumulated a large cash cushion waiting for the opportunity to invest. Panic is inevitable, and it is being unleashed at the highest levels by the incoming administration. To make money, you have to differentiate yourself from 99% of people around you. You must think differently, act differently, adopt different habits, and prioritize your time radically. I could write books about it, but for one post, this is enough wisdom. Story 25. For example, my company offers Boon, where they pay €40 into a specific savings fund for you every month. It is yours. It only requires a couple of documents to be completed before they can start. Only about 1/3 of apprentices use it, the ones with the least money. Over a 3-year apprenticeship, that is already €1,500 they are leaving on the table. Considering that it is literally free money that takes about 20 minutes of bureaucracy to arrange. Story 26. Avoid debt. Create a budget and make saving a priority. Learn about the time value of money and compound interest. Story 27. Try being born into it. This works over 90% of the time, yet not enough people do it. Story 28. A defined benefit retirement, also known as a traditional pension, is offered almost exclusively by government employers. My military retirement is worth approximately $3.8 million. That is how much I would have to invest in a variable annuity to achieve the same monthly income with inflation adjustments. Essentially, the Army saved that amount for me without telling me. Story 29. Being bailed out by taxpayers for making bad loans. Story 30. Make rich friends. Who you know and who knows you is very important. As a successful but crass man once told me, "Why have poor friends when you can have rich ones?" I must admit I have not followed this strategy myself, but I have seen it work countless times. Story 31. I told my parents to buy Bitcoin in 2011, but they were strongly opposed to anything that was not physical because they distrusted online transactions. They did not buy Bitcoin. A few years ago, my dad tried to open a cryptocurrency wallet and saw how much Bitcoin was worth then. He could only sigh and move on. Story 32. Time in the market beats timing the market. The biggest mistake most people make is waiting too long to start investing. Nothing is more powerful than how long your money has been working for you. Sign up for the 401k plan at work. Set your contribution to what you can afford, but at a minimum maximize the company match. When you get a raise, put half of it into your retirement. If your raise is 4%, increase your contribution by 2%. Repeat until you reach the contribution limit, then start contributing to other retirement accounts. Story 33. As children, we are told to save money. We should be taught to invest and to understand inflation. Story 34. Get out of debt and stay out of it. Stop thinking you can get ahead with other people's money. Story 35. Don't buy shit on credit. If you can't pay cash for it, don't buy it. Story 36. If the government offers tax-advantaged accounts such as registered retirement savings plans or registered education savings plans in Canada, take advantage of them when possible. Do not try to time the market. Instead, look for growing industries and solid performers. Keep impulse buying to a minimum. Splurge on small items, not on big purchases. Buy well-maintained cars from reputable manufacturers and avoid flashy models that cost more. Pay off credit card debt first and limit how many cards you have. Practice healthy restraint. Story 37. As soon as you start earning, invest 20 to 30% in deposits, stocks, or funds. The sooner you begin, the more dividends you will receive. Be patient. Story 38. Any monthly bank draft you can afford, even $50, invested from a young age in a mutual fund or index fund will make you rich. Time, not money. Story 39. Not everyone is in a position to do this, but setting up investment accounts early and making regular contributions can have a big impact. You do not need thousands to start investing. Story 40. Everyone is answering how to make more money, but there are two paths to being wealthy: getting more or needing less. Focus on needing less. Buy a smaller car or house and take the shortest loan term you can. Buy quality items and keep them longer. Learn basic home and car maintenance skills. You will save money by doing some of the work yourself and preserve the value of your assets. Every year you are without a car payment between purchases is like a $5,000 to $10,000 a year raise. When you plan an expense into your budget and manage to eliminate it, that is an excellent way to free up money for saving or investing. If you pay off a car that was costing you $700 per month, put $700 per month into savings for 3 years before buying the next one, and you will have $25,000 saved for the next car. Even better, if you invest that $25,000 in stocks and earn 6% annual growth after adjusting for inflation, in 20 years it can grow to about $80,000 for retirement. Except that the world is changing. Home prices and inflation may continue to rise while wages stagnate. Advice that was great in 1990 may not be appropriate today. When reading financial advice, consider the context and ask whether it is still relevant or needs to be adapted. Story 41. Start saving in a 401k retirement plan right away. Save as much as you can afford and, if possible, increase contributions to the maximum, but at least contribute enough to receive the full company match. Hold fast and you will retire well. Story 42. Learn about compound interest. A little invested now will be worth more than a lot invested later. Story 43. Bank robbery. If you do not get caught, you have it made. Story 44. 1. Contribute to your 401k retirement plan up to the employer match. 2. Contribute the maximum allowed to your health savings account. 3. Use remaining funds to fully fund your 401k retirement plan. 4. Invest any additional money in a taxable brokerage account. I prefer the Vanguard Total Stock Market Exchange Traded Fund for broader diversification. The Vanguard S&P 500 Exchange Traded Fund is also acceptable. Follow this plan for 30 years to retire with more than $2 million based on your lifetime salary. Story 45. Buy stock in the brands you love, not in their products. Story 46. Being born rich is an often overlooked opportunity to build wealth. Story 47. Not sure if this is a missed opportunity, but there is a difference between making money and earning money. You make money by taking something, adding value, and selling it for a profit. You earn money by trading your time for pay. Your company takes your time, adds value, and sells it for a profit. The company makes money while you trade your time for some of that money. Story 48. Learn about group investing to acquire hard assets like real estate. We bring 10 to 30 people together to buy self-storage facilities. Next year, we will buy recreational vehicle parks. We buy properties that double the group's investment every 4 to 5 years. There are many tax advantages to owning investment real estate that do not apply to owning a primary residence. Story 49. Spending your entire 20s in school without a solid plan for how you will use your degrees, especially if they are financed with debt, is risky. Academia is not a stable path. It is a dying and often exploitative industry. If you are not already wealthy, develop a backup plan. Story 50. Learn early to identify and prioritize wants and needs, especially an emergency fund. You want to go on a trip to Florida. You need to change the failing wheel bearings on your car so you can reliably get to work. People act surprised that they do not have money to address life's obstacles, but they have failed to prioritize having an emergency fund over wants like vacations and other discretionary spending. I'll be honest. Fiscal responsibility is not fun, but it is a reliable way to build wealth. Story 51. It feels like the original poster just discovered time travel and needs some inspiration before the radioactive material loses its usefulness as it decays. Story 52. Letting your children live with you while they pay off student loans or save after college is single-handedly the largest wealth-building opportunity anyone has access to. Story 53. Start investing early and consistently. Live below your means. Never overspend unless it is absolutely necessary. Live by the 70-20-10 rule. Story 54. Buying real estate while in the womb would have been very lucrative. Story 55. Avoiding debt and investing consistently are key. You can't always have no debt or avoid putting money elsewhere. Life happens. But if you consistently avoid debt and invest regularly throughout your life, you are likely to be all right and will greatly increase your chances of becoming wealthy. Story 56. Finding a financial advisor who shitposts on Reddit while trying to drum up new business. Story 57. The more socialism you have, the better the quality of life for the vast majority and the greater the total wealth, meaningfully defined, of the society of which you are a part. Story 58. Owning my own home has increased my net worth significantly. I live in a large city, and buying my apartment would have been impossible without help from my parents. Story 59. Businesses don't sell products. They sell labor. Starbucks doesn't sell coffee. It sells labor. You can start a coffee shop and run it yourself, but then you cannot open another one. Anyone can start a business and do all the work, but then you can only sell 40 to 80 labor hours per week. You can sell 40 labor hours per employee. Each employee increases the number of cappuccinos you can make. All of the insanely wealthy people I have met own businesses. 100% of them spend their time creating more jobs to sell more labor. Nobody looks at it this way. Look at Amazon. Jeff Bezos may not have described it that way, but that is essentially what he did. He does not pack or deliver packages or build websites. All he does is decide what to do and who will do it. Story 60. Live below your means, avoid taking a large car loan, and invest in index funds. Story 61. If your employer offers a Section 403(b) retirement plan or a Section 401(k) retirement plan, start contributing as soon as you are hired. Story 62. So what I am gathering from the answers here is that you should have known better, pleb. It is too late now. You should have started investing in the womb. Story 63. Aside from staying healthy and finding a career with a strong income trajectory, marrying a healthy partner with a similar financial outlook matters. Story 64. Investing in your early 20s. Talk to most investors aged 40 and older, and they will say they wish they had invested in companies or assets such as Bitcoin, Apple, Google, Meta, Nvidia, or Tesla when they were in their 20s. For example, £100 invested in their early days may now be worth tens of thousands. Story 65. I was born into a wealthy family. Follow me for more life tips. Story 66. Always pay your credit card statement in full. Leave no balance. If you spend too much, sit down and review how you can save. Story 67. Investing in low-cost index funds as early as possible. Story 68. Start investing early. As soon as you are eligible, research the market and make long-term investments. Story 69. Some people will tell you not to invest too much in any one thing, like an individual stock. That is good general advice, except look what happened with Bitcoin, Nvidia, and Tesla. One way to build extraordinary wealth is to be concentrated in a high-performing asset. The problem is that no one knows which asset will be massive next. There are signs. I bought a fair amount of property in the 1990s, probably 3 times my net worth. Property was cheap and rents were decent. It was easy to see that this was a fantastic deal. If I had been able to buy 5 or 6 more properties, by the 2010s I would never have had to work again. If you see an opportunity like that, be brave enough to take advantage. Story 70. Give every dollar you get a purpose, and put as much of your income as possible into things that increase in value. Stocks, bonds, and real estate. Everything else is gambling or speculation. Do not do that. Story 71. Open a margin account and sell put options deep out of the money on exchange-traded funds each week. You are using the broker's money without cost and can generate $250 per week easily on $100,000 of equity. If the shares are assigned to you, sell them on Monday. I have done this for a few years with $200,000 of equity and averaged $400 per week without ever having an exchange-traded fund assigned to me. Story 72. If you do not need it and must use credit to purchase it, do not buy it. Story 73. Invest early, invest often. Simple in theory, very difficult in practice. Story 74. I had a finance professor in college who said, "The trick to having money is to choose your parents well and marry rich. Then you can drink pina coladas on the beach every day." I have not forgotten you, Dr. Chandy. Story 75. Change jobs, especially when you are young. Do not have a resume that makes you look like a frequent job changer. But looking around every 2 to 3 years is reasonable. Your first job without experience will probably be a poor fit and will pay less. After 2 years, you will have experience and can often get a position that pays 30 to 50% more, but few companies will offer a 50% raise. Story 76. Invest in the stock market while you are young. Prioritize saving rather than buying luxuries. Story 77. A common missed opportunity for building wealth is relying solely on a 9-to-5 job. While it offers stability, it can limit financial growth. Instead, start side hustles and gradually turn them into businesses. This creates multiple income streams and reduces dependence on a single source, which often ties you to government or corporate employment. Taking initiative outside a traditional job can unlock far more opportunities for financial independence and long-term wealth. Story 78. Do not buy into consumerism. Buy what you need, not the next model above what your peers and neighbors have. Story 79. Live beneath your means and invest the difference. This sounds trite, but I am surrounded by people who blame political figures for their financial misery, while they are neck-deep in debt from gaudy displays of wealth that must be constantly replaced or updated. Compound interest is the eighth wonder of the world. He who understands it earns it. He who does not pays it. Story 80. Save early. You have the time value of money working for you. Story 81. Cryptocurrency. These people are missing the opportunity to avoid losing everything next year. Story 82. If you had invested $1,000 in Bitcoin in 2010, you would be a billionaire now. Story 83. Keep your expenses down and under control. Most people I know have a spending problem, not an earning problem. All those $7 Starbucks drinks every day, international vacations twice a year, and takeout lunches or dinners every other day will bleed you dry if left unchecked. It becomes a never-ending wish to have some amount in your account when you spend almost $2,000 per year on Starbucks drinks and treats, or $4,000 a year to travel. This is not to say you should deprive yourself entirely. Instead of Starbucks every workday, try going just once. Instead of international vacations, try something closer to home within driving distance. Many people do not realize how many options are available within a few hours if they do the research. Small adjustments pay big dividends in the future. Story 84. Armed revolution against the ruling class. We should have done that already. Story 85. Get off Reddit. Many people there disparage wealth creation, and if you spend too much time with that crowd, you may start to think the same. You will not become wealthy. Thanks a bunch for sticking around till the end of the video. Remember to subscribe, and until next time, stay awesome and goodbye.